AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. Wall Street's roller coaster ride went up today. The Dow finished up 683 points. It's the best day since 2022, following an encouraging update on the job market. ABC News says both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have agreed to a presidential debate September 10th. Trump says 3 dates in all have been agreed to. Speaking at Mar-a-Lago in Florida today, Trump says he doesn't like the press coverage of the new Harris-Tim Walz ticket.
And they talk about, the enthusiasm. Let me tell you, we have the enthusiasm. The Republican Party and me as a candidate, but the Republican Party has the enthusiasm.
Kamala Harris, meantime, is in Detroit and got the endorsement of the United Auto Workers Union.
I say to all the members of UAW, and Sean Fain as the first who I talked to about this, I am so deeply honored as a lifelong supporter of union labor for Tim and I to have the endorsement of UAW.
Tim Walz's voice was sounding a little hoarse after his third day on the campaign trail. American Noah Lyles says he has the coronavirus. In Paris today, he got the bronze medal in the 200 meters. After the race, Lyles was tended to by medics who carted him off the track in a wheelchair. American Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone broke her own world record for a 6th time, finishing the 400-meter hurdles with gold. A competitor in the CrossFit Games died while competing in a swimming event on a lake in Texas. The Carolinas and coastal Georgia can't just seem to shake Debbie.
We're just praying that we don't get any more rain.
The tropical storm is lingering, meaning lots of rain. A 7th Debbie-related death was reported in North Carolina. Amanda West lives in Bladensboro, North Carolina.
It was scary, not knowing when the rain was going to stop. That was really scary. We are waiting for the water to go down so we can help everybody get their stuff cleaned up and get back in their buildings and see what damage is done.
This is AP News. High wire walker Philippe Petit has marked the 50th anniversary walk on a wire between the World Trade Center tower.
On Wednesday, Philippe Petit did a reenactment of his unauthorized 1974 walk between the World Trade Center towers at an event at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York. Singer-songwriter Sting and jazz clarinetist Anat Cohen performed music while he walked 1,300 feet above the ground. Petit was the subject of the Oscar-winning documentary Man on Wire, and he admits he took all the glory for himself.
It is thanks to my friend Jean-Louis Blondeau that I had a cable to walk on. And I thought, why not say that tonight?
Petit says it's sad the World Trade Center no longer stands, but the miracle of memory allows him to honor the towers. I'm Archie Zaraletta.
The search is on for a small alligator in Erie, Pennsylvania, after it was caught on video last weekend swimming just off the shore of Lake Erie. It may be a pet. I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. Happy day, Tirawami greetings to Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your island news from a beautiful place with Pacific views. It's always so much fun on Good Morning, Marianas.
Good morning. Holy cow, it's Friday. We made it. We survived. Everybody, take the rest of the day off. Except for you, Tobot. You start working. You got a customer right away. You better get to titting, young man. Keep that economy going. Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. It is Friday morning. It is 7:14. You are all charged up with the latest from the Associated Press already, so you are good to go. and that is pretty good for us too. Looks like we got our YouTube going, and it seems to be all right. Looks like we got our Facebook going. It looks like it's all right. Doing all kinds of stuff to get everything squared away in here. I know it does. Sometimes you just think it's easy. It's pretty perfect in here. I'll tell you what. Yeah, I guess you're right. No, it's not. There is a lot of stuff that goes on over here in in NMI News Service land, and trying to get this whole thing set up sometimes a little bit easier. The way it looks than the way it actually turns out to be. So that's true. Like today, let's talk about how hard life is. Today I had to wear pants. I know. It's terrible. I can't wear shorts today. Oh, no, I can't wear shorts today. I think I'll get over it. I'll figure out how to get over it. But this has been the week of pants in our little world, and that's terrible. I mean, it's good, because it means business stuff is going on, and there's opportunity and trying to look professional and all that stuff. But really, I'd rather be a shorts guy. So, hey, I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching over here on the NMI News Service channel. Thanks for you guys who are watching over there on the Good Morning Marianas page. And thanks to you guys watching over there on the YouTubes. Good to see you guys, all you guys. And last night, we had a bunch of folks watching for sure because it was baseball night. I know, Millie, you're worried about baseball. Don't worry about baseball. But I know it was a heck of a thing last night. A bit of an upset where the Blue Jays ended up beating the Sandlot 9-4 last night. Nobody expected that. Nobody expected it. It was just not a good night. It was not a good night for a Sandlot, but Sandlot and Blue Jays finishing the season at 6-4. And we're going to have to wait and see what happens on Monday. Now, I know there's a game tonight, White Sox Natives. Going to be good. They're playing for pride. It's going to be fun. Monday, though, last game of the season, you got the Royals and the Padres. Now, the Royals win. They finish the season at 6-4. Then there's 4 teams tied for the last 3 spots. So that's going to go down but to the least runs scored or least runs allowed. That's how it's going to go down in the tiebreaker. So we're not going to find out till Monday night how the playoffs going to shake out for the Saipan Baseball League. But we're looking forward to it. And Kyle Hookug is in charge of the playoff schedule. So we're going to get that schedule from him too. So might be games as soon as Thursday and Friday night next week for the playoffs. Hey, good morning to all you guys. Great to see you. For sure, it's 83 degrees out here in sunny Saipan today. It's hard to say that after the way yesterday was, for sure. But we're looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. Partly sunny skies with a high near 88. Light southeast winds, chance of rain, 30%. Yeah, pretty good. No, it's going to rain. Don't worry, somewhere it's going to rain. Tonight, though, partly cloudy skies with a low around 78 and light southeast winds. Should be nice and clear tonight. So, 1, that's good for baseball. Number 2, it's great for you guys who want to go out on the town and earn this Friday. Yeah, Louisa, even though it is Casual Friday, there's nothing casual about this. Why am I dressed up? All right, because today there is the graduation for the 10th cycle for Customs and Biosecurity Officers over at Crown Plaza, and we're going to be down there. They reached out to us and to go out there and cover it. And I want to do something a little bit special for them. I like what they end up doing. I like the way that they're out there keeping us safe with all the stuff they're intercepting at the post office and when it gets off the planes, all that kind of stuff. So we are. I was working on it today to see if there's a way that we can do it up really special. See if we can't go live for them down there with some really good camera stuff and everything. Now, it's too late for me to try to assemble like a super team and all that stuff to get down there, but I think we could do something pretty nice for them. So if you're interested in seeing what's going on with Customs and their graduation today, you should be able to watch it live with us on the NMI News Service. So you'll see it on our stream here for sure. All right, so that part's good. We got that going for us, which is nice. We'll upload the video to YouTube later, but we're only going to stream on the one. Just to get that out, just to see how that works, and to try to give them a real good run. So might duck out of here a little early to get us extra time to set up over there because, again, we want to do them right. I mean, these are guys who are protecting our borders, right? So what can we help them out a little bit more? Heck yeah, let's go do that. So if we duck out of here at 8:30 today, don't go throwing any stones over here. I mean, just start clapping for Customs instead. Cool. All right. So that's why it's not Casual Friday for me. I would love it to be. Now, after I'm done with it, maybe I'll Maybe I'll go and get casual. I got the gym stuff in the car. I'm ready to go. And by car, I mean news van of justice. I know you guys have definitely started to see some of that going around town. People seeing me in my massive van that we've got. It's really cool. I'm telling you, it's not a bad way to go because prices for fuel are not low at all. They're pretty expensive, right? I mean, how much does it take for you to fill up your vehicle? I'll tell you, for my Tacoma, it was about $100, somewhere between $90 and $100 every week. And it wasn't like it lasted like a whole week, like 6 days maybe. And I got to spend $100. Like, let me tell you about this news van of justice with my Pacific points, because I'm an IP&E guy. For that vehicle, it cost me. Are you ready? When you get to that certain level for your Pacific points, you get that extra 6% discount. $26 and change to fill it up. And it lasts a week. $26. I'm saving like $70 every week just from running that thing. It's crazy. Yeah, my little elf mobile. Really, it's crazy. That thing is awesome. 3 cylinders of power. I'm not going to win any drag races. It's true. I think we have established that as a point of fact. But hey, it's great so far. Absolutely loving it. And man, I'm even looking at maybe getting another one, but not the van. I'm thinking about getting like one of those little SUVs, those little Japanese K-car SUVs, or one of those little sedans. And I don't even mean like cool fancy ones. I mean, there's a lot of cool ones, but they're like Cooper, like Mini Cooper kind of style. So, and what I love about those, perfect pass it on cars to your kids. Of course, yeah. Are you warping your kids because they're going to have to learn on the opposite side? Yeah, okay, maybe. The right-hand drive might be a bit much for them. I think it's cool. Not so much for them. And this little thing's got the, need to jump on that K-car trend, save me some gas. So I'm telling you, dude, you got to check this thing out. I want to show this one already has somewhat of a tint on it. I do want to get a darker tint on it for sure. It's got like a medium tint on it that came with it, but it needs something a little bit more. It's not a bad tint. It's not like falling apart or any of that stuff. I mean, it still looks good. But, man, just a shade darker. I think would be better. All right. And, hey, good morning to you, too. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you. So let's get onto some of the stories that we have going on today. Hooray. Do I have any? Is this a... There. That's the one sound effect that I have on this board right here. There we go. See, isn't that awesome? I mean, I have a lot of other things. Like this one is funny, but...
Check out the big brain on Brad. You're a smart motherfucker.
All right, that's it. I forgot about that last little part on the end of that one, but it's all right. All right. Hey, we talked about this yesterday, and we're actually working on and hilarious. All right. We talked about this yesterday. We posted it for sure, the complete list of all the candidates who are running for election this November. And we absolutely have them. And we could talk it through a little bit. So we were talking with our intern of power and might. That's right. VJ Gulto. He's coming in this morning also, and he's going to work on finishing up this cool graphic that we have. But we're going to post that on there. We just posted the plain old version. But we've got slides broken down person by person and all that other stuff, so you'll be able to see it. But so here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at some interesting races that are happening in November because we already know some of them, right? I mean, there's only one judge who's up for retention, and that, yeah, it does seem lower. I just got a message in about that, and I agree with you. It does seem like a smaller list. And here's where we're going with it. So U.S. House of Representatives, there's only one seat open. There's 5 people going. So you've got John Gonzalez, Liana Hofschneider, Kim King-Hines, Jimbo Rayfam, Ed Probst. Right? Everybody knows about that. There's one judge up for retention. That's Judge Teresa Kim Tenorio. I can't see her not getting in. I mean, she's going to get reelected, to her term. She's doing a great job. Senate. There's one seat open for the Senate. Paul Manglonia's seat. The guy who's been in there since ABBA was still on the charts, right? So he's running again, and he's doing a good job. So he's going to be... who's challenging for it? Ronnie Calvo. So two people going for the one seat. But this is where it gets interesting to me because Tinian, Carl King neighbors running unopposed. Great. They love him, right? But the running unopposed thing is a theme for what's going on in Tinian. You'll see about it in a second. So he's the only one who has a seat that's up. He's running unopposed. Pretty easy, right? In Saipan, there's only one seat open also, and that's the seat for Senate President Edith De Leon Guerrero. But now there's 3 people going for it. We already heard from Manny Castro. We saw him over at the Commonwealth Election Commission the other day for the big filing. And so he's running. He's the current representative for Precinct 2. Well, he's going to represent Saipan. And who else is going? There's someone else. Luis Masga Sablan is running. So there's 3 people going for that one seat. So that should be pretty cool. So that takes care of your Senate, your congressional seat, and for the judge. When it comes to the House of Representatives, oh, man. Oh, nothing to yawn about. There's so many who are going. All right, so let's talk about it. There's 2 seats, I think, that are going to be available that maybe people didn't expect. So Ed Probst is running. So that means for the first time in a long time, there's going to be an open seat for him because he was always the top vote getter for Precinct 1 and top vote getter for a non-island-wide race, too. So Roy Atta, he's going up for re-election. Vincent Cobre Aldon, he's going for re-election. Roman Benavente, he's going up again. He's been there a million times. Diego Camacho, he won his first election last time out, and he's going up again. Joe Flores, he's going in. Oh, my God, what is this yawning attack? I mean, are one of you guys yawning? You guys are definitely passing this on to me. All right, who else is going? Who else is in already? Now, and a bunch of folks who aren't in. A bunch of challengers. Who are they? Carmen De Leon Guerrero. Yeah, Carmen Patricia De Leon Guerrero. I think that's Senate President's sister. Janet Maritita. She's won a bunch. She wears her own color. She's not purple, or she's not red. She's not blue. She wears purple. Ray Palacios. Ray Udzoa Palacios is running for Precinct 1. Ben Pittig, he's running for Precinct 1. Edwin Raymond Bo Kitagua, he's running. Yep, and Yvette Regis Sablan, she's running as well. Look at all those names for Precinct 1. So a lot of challengers. And now you've got 6 seats for Precinct 1. So there's a lot of folks who can get in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 11 people running for that. Precinct 2, there's only 2 seats available, but there's 3 people running. And one of them is a surprise. So one of the seats is totally coming open because Manny Castro is running for Senate, right? J.P. Sablan is running again. So you'd almost figure he's a shoo-in because he wins really well. But who's running for that seat? Diego Manglonia Sablan and Daniel Aquino. Danny Aquino, the current director for the Commonwealth Bureau of Military Affairs. He is running for Precinct 2. I'll tell you what. I think he came over to the Bureau with I'll just say a strong recommendation from the Lieutenant Governor because when the Lieutenant Governor was mayor, he had Danny Aquino running the museum. And the museum looks great. He did a great job with the museum. Then he gets appointed over there at the Bureau. He does a good job. It's a lower profile thing. I mean, there's a lot of work to do, but you're not out like with such a visible thing like that. So he's done a good job with coordinating a lot of IRT and working with the team over there. So it's a good gig, but he's running for office. And Precinct 2. Now, how about Precinct 3? It's the other big one. I've had legislators tell me that's the governor maker, Precinct 3. That's what they say, because it's such a big precinct. I think they've got 6 seats also, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 2 more people running. BJ Attow is running. He's already in there. Vicente Camacho, he's running. He's already in there. Marissa Flores is running. She's already in there. Ed Villagomez is running. He's already in there. Denita Yanktamai, she's already running and she's already in there. Ralph Yulmel, already in there. Those are the 6 who are in there. But people are gunning for him. Del Benson is running. I didn't know his middle name is Ariel. I didn't know he was the Little Mermaid. I didn't know. Also, who else is running in Precinct 3? Ellie Rangamar. Yes, he is a CNMI Sports Hall of Famer. Ellie Rangamar is running for office. How about that? The guy who's taught so many people how to run at the track and up and down the basketball court, he's running. That is great. Way to go. Go get him, Coach Ellie. Go get him. Now, Precinct 4 is a little bit of a shocker. It was a shocker to me because I didn't think he was running again. Joel Camacho, who's currently in office, he was one of the people who was, I think, one of the spearheads behind the whole split up with the GOP and the formation, the partnership with the Democrats, the Indems, and all that stuff. But does a great job up there in Precinct 4. Really. He wasn't going to run, and I couldn't believe it. Well, he is now. He is running again. So there's only 2 seats up there, and he's running for one of them. Also, Malcolm Omar, who's in there right now, he's running for re-election as well. But there's other folks coming for them too. Antonio Capileo, Rosa Taman Rios, and Cecilia Taitano. She ran before, and she's going for it again. So Precinct 4, that's 5 people going for 2 seats. That's going to be a good scrap for sure. All right, so who else we got? Precinct 5, only 2 seats, but 3 people going for it. Both of the incumbents are going for it. TJ Manglonia and Angelo Camacho, both going for it. But the Republicans are fielding a challenger, Melvin Faisal. I have predictions for some of these. But anyway, so there's 3 people running for 2 seats. And Precinct 6, which is Tinian, again, going with that same theme, running unopposed. Nobody is running against Patrick San Nicolas. GOP. Red Kingdom. We'll take it from the Chiefs and call us the Red Kingdom. I know, they took it from the Kansas City Chiefs. Totally did. All right, Precinct 7. The audacity. I'm kidding. How could someone run against my good friend? How could someone run against my good friend, Julie Ogo? How dare they? Not really. Sorry, because I like them both. Eusebio Manglonia, he's running. He's running against Julie. I'm still a Team Julie guy. Sorry. Hey, no hate at all. I really I like them both. But Julie, I love Julie. She's great. And not just because she shares the name with my parents or my sister, but I do love her parents for sure. I love her parents. I'm not endorsing anybody, or maybe I am for her. Yeah, because I love her. She's great. Now, that to me is really interesting. So Tinian seats are not going to change at all. That's it. Only one person running for the Senate seat. Only one person running for their representative. I find it really interesting. I can't believe that in this world. I think what's happening in Tinian is that they're just trying to circle the wagons and just stay together and have everyone together, because if they don't have it, they think that they're gonna get less and less and less. And if they stay together, at least they stay in the same party and they're not fighting within each other. They're really, I think they're just going with Tinian against the world is how they're doing it over there. I think that's it. And I'll tell you, it worked in the Senate, because that's how they flipped the majority in the Senate. What are you talking about, Brad? Oh, you haven't heard? Are you not reading the papers? Probably not. But are you not following all the headlines with regards to these guys? With what's happening in Tinian? Tinian is single-handedly saving the GOP and keeping the GOP together in the CNY. If you think I'm kidding, you're not watching close enough. Tinian is single-handedly keeping the GOP together. When everybody was thinking about running away after what happened with Governor Torres losing and all those investigations and all that other stuff, and Tinian took a lot of lumps when the new administration took over. the funding thing's still coming their way, right? But they stuck together. They keep their team together. They keep voting with that same group and that same base, and the Republicans sticking together over there. And look at them. Now the Republicans have the majority in the Senate. That's not true, Brad. Yes, it is. Tell me I'm wrong. You can tell me I'm wrong. I look forward to it. Please tell me I'm wrong, because just so we could have this conversation. But that is a big deal. When you're looking at what's happening in Tinian, you got Senator Cruz, Senator Hofschneider, and Senator King Neighbors, and you've got just them, right? And then in Rhoda, Dennis Mendiola won, right? So that's 4. There's only 9 people in the Senate. That's 4 of them right there, and they don't care about the issues necessarily. That's not fair. It's not fair to say you guys don't care about the issues. But what I mean to say is to give more, to add more to that. Regardless of what the issue is, they just stay together. They just vote together. Period. Those guys roll tight. All they need to do is get one more person. And they got their one more person in Edith De Leon Guerrero, the Senate president. It helps that she is the Senate president too. So you got the person who's controlling the whole thing jumping on with those guys. And now you got your majority over there in the Senate, and that's all you need. And that wouldn't happen if it wasn't for Tinian sticking together. So Tinian is the example for what happens when you stay together, right? So like when things change and people waver back and forth, that's why you don't want to be a flipper. I mean, necessarily. But that's why I just would never join a party necessarily full on, because, you know, that blind loyalty to, because someone else tells you that that's the way we're going, that's a tough one. The people don't elect the parties. The people elect the people. Just the people in that party just decide they're going to stick together. So I don't know how it's going to go. Oh, yeah, Arlene, that's right. One heart, one people. It should be 100%. And you know, when the chips are down, it really is that way. When there's a typhoon, people aren't like, well, I'm not giving you water because you didn't support me. No. People don't pull that kind of crap. But, you know, the thing is that when it comes to this stuff, that's how the Senate is rolling. That's why those guys are in there. That's why, I mean, we'll see how it happens. And Frank, thanks for tuning in, by the way. I loved your comment, but I would love to see how that happens. If Franklin says, hey, Tinian definitely going to change at 26, I don't know what is going to change at 2026. I mean, what's going to be the difference 2 years from now in Tinian? They didn't even run an opposition candidate for Patrick's son, Nicholas. All right? How does nobody run against him? I don't understand it. Brad, why are you picking on him? I don't know. He's probably a good guy. But, you know, I just can't believe nobody ran against him. Now, I talked to some people about it yesterday, and they said, well, you know, because, you know, they're doing better where they're at right now. They don't want to rock the boat over there. But maybe in a couple years, I think people are waiting for the general election. And that's what I've heard, Franklin. I've heard that people are waiting for the general election in 2026 to really come out. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I guess maybe, I don't know the reasoning why people are waiting till 2 years from now. I don't. But I guess we'll find out. I'll tell you what, though, in 2 years from now, I think there's going to be more of that uncertainty, and people are going to end up huddling into their team corners and stuff like that because of all the rumors about who's going to run for governor. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Tell me the ones you heard. I'll tell you the ones I heard. I heard Ralph's coming back out and running. Heard Vinny is coming back out and running. Heard Khalili's coming back out and running. Now, I'm telling you, I'm just spitting rumors. That's all that is. That's maybe just to make it a little more spicy out here for the conversation. Nobody said, hey, Brad, this is what I'm doing. I really need your support or anything. No. None of that happened. I'm just telling you, like, these are the rumors that are going around and people are talking about. Who else is going to be running? I don't know. For like lieutenant governor combo, is Selena Babauta going to be making a run? She's definitely doing a lot of coordination for a lot of folks. I mean, when you look, just by looking at from the outside, right? Who's going to run? And then is Governor Palacios going to run again? I don't know. But if he does, what's going to happen if other people within that group decide that they're going to run too? What kind of fracturing is that going to go? All that, to me, Franklin just reinforces what I was saying about like people sticking together with the party and being afraid. I mean, that's it. Right? Yep. JJ Seman is running. That's right. Sorry, I'm just checking out I'm keeping up with some of you guys. I love that. Said, need a qualifying exam for all positions. You know what? The thing is about that, I don't know, like, what would be on that thing? Holy crap. Franklin. Well, yeah, because, Edwin L. Dunn, he can't run again, right? So that's why the mayor's office would change. And that okay, you're helping educate me a little bit. Give me the perspective again. Because really, the mayor is where all the power lies, right? So, in Tinian. And so, if four mayoral candidates running for Tinian in 2026, holy cow, yeah, because Edwin L. Dunn, you can only do two. You can only do 2 terms. And that would be it. I mean, because if not, like, lieutenant governor would probably still be mayor because he was definitely popular. All right, I want a governor who's down to earth and good with finances. Me too. Leonard, again, thanks for tuning in. Says you should do a segment where you pull up all the bills introduced by the incumbents and money appropriated, etc. A lot of voters stay misinformed, and every election year just turns into a popularity contest. That's a great idea. Let's do it. The thing that gets me, I would like to show, and if we'll do that between now and the election, Leonard. Great idea. Also, though, I'm going to talk about the dates of when they introduced them. It's got to be tough, especially for first. Oh, that's great. Just got a message from Das over there at the Crown. We talked about it earlier about going to do the to cover the graduation for the 10th cycle for customs. So he's going to get me taken care of with a great spot. All right. Anyway, so Leonard, you're talking about doing a segment where they introduce all the bills and the money appropriate, all that. That's all great. I want to show the thing about the dates of when they do it, how close it is to their election when they start doing that stuff. The other one is it's got to be tough for a member of the House of Representatives. If you're running right now, you got to know what you want to do already. You have to, because you only have 2 years, and it's less than that. Your first 100 days in office should be when you're really hitting for the fences. I mean, like after you get elected in November, you have just about 2 months to get your ducks in a row before you get inaugurated, and you take your oath, and then you go to work, right? I mean, you still got to figure out what office space you're in. The other guy's going to clear it out. You got to go into that space, and then it depends on who is in the majority, minority, all that stuff. I'm telling you, the legislature is weird in that it's not just like everybody gets the standard office, and except for the House Speaker and the Senate President who get the one with the conference room. It's not like that. They're all different sizes, all different locations, and then they play like musical chairs based on seniority and all. I mean, all that stuff is just garbage. If we ever build a new legislature, give them all the same size office and just have a fancier one for the Speaker and for the Senate President with a conference room. There you go. Piece of cake. And then if you're going to build it like you do now, like where they're in the same building, make a joint conference room. That's it. Put a joint conference room in between the conference rooms between the Senate and for like the Senate President and the House Speaker. All right, so that's like bells and whistles and wishes and all that stuff. But anyway, getting down to it, you're figuring out when you're a first termer for a 2-year term for the House. You get in January. You got to set up your office. You need to have your staff already picked out that you're going to need to do all that stuff. And then you get to work, right? But that last 6 months is almost all campaigning. And they start before that. It's almost like a year of work and a year of campaigning. Then they got all those trips. I don't know. I don't know how you could do it without having a great team with you and being ready to go way before you start. That's why it's like by the time re-election is coming around, that is when all of a sudden they're like, oh, crap, I got to introduce some stuff. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Hold on. Perfect. Thank you. That's, again, that's Das. He's just showing me a table to get me set up so I can go set up, which is great. All right. Thank you so much. This is really just so we could do that good coverage for the customs today. Anyway, so then they're like, holy cow, toward the end of their first term or whatever term, I need to start introducing some bills. Like if you want to be representative, you need more than one term to really get some stuff done. And why do you and you need that to do a couple things. One, you want people to follow you. You want people to go on with you. You want to work together with other folks. I mean, they don't have to follow you, but you want to build a nice little coalition with everybody to get some stuff done. And by the way, it shouldn't matter what party that someone else is with when you're doing it. I know, Brad, you're just so naive. I know. Great. But still, like you're telling me you can't have a beer with somebody because they're a Republican. You're telling me you can't have a beer with them because they're a Democrat. Tell them they can't have a beer because they're an alcoholic. Okay, I get that one. But, it doesn't matter what party they're in. You should be able to talk to them about regular stuff, right? And it's easy. Oh, yeah, he says we need term limits for all. I'm with you on that. I like that idea. So you can't be a career politician. And the thing is, that's right. There should be term limits. I like that idea. And use the House as like a feeder system to the Senate and to the governor's office. Yeah, it's tough. It shouldn't. If you don't have term limits, Freddie, on that one, if you don't have term limits, here's the best thing about it. If you don't have them, people end up thinking of that as a career. You shouldn't be, I should say, a career politician. Get in, fight for what makes sense, and get out. Now, I like that because when you're in your last term, I guess the thing is, in your last term, you don't have to worry about a re-election bid, so you can really roll up those sleeves, especially for the Senate. Senate's a 4-year term. Make it just a 2-term max. That's what I like it. It shouldn't be a career job. It's tough for me to say it because I want people who are really good to still be there. I do. I really want people who are really good to still be there. It bothers me to see people who aren't really good or get too full of themselves stay there. It bothers me. It definitely bothers me. But it's great to have good professionals in there who know what they're doing. But it would be like some of these folks could be doing good things out there in the community. But then I wonder, some of them, could they survive? Maybe for a little while because they got some pull. But can they survive doing real stuff? The way they talk to people up there, the way they just totally cut people out. I think it's good to go in there with a ballless theme, a whole lot of momentum, and do some great stuff for the community. And then you got to get back into the community. That's it. Go in there, do a whole bunch of good work, then get back out. Because that is like its own little club up there. You almost lose touch with the people you're representing. Because you get too much into the high school clique stuff that's up there. It's true. I love the idea of term limits for that. There's a reason why you can only have so many years when you're in the governor's office. Hey, good morning, BJ. There's a reason why that happens. So why not do that for all of them? And that's not public office, period. I'm just saying, if you're 8 years in the House, that's 4 elections, right? Cool. But that doesn't mean then you're done. Then you can still run for Senate if you want to. And if you've done a good job, the people will reward you by giving you that gig. And if you get it for 8 years, 2 terms, that'd be great. So you could get, there's 16 years. There's your career. right? There's your 16. And then you could run for governor if you want. And by the way, we have 19 seats in that seat in my House of Representatives. It's time to dial that back because it's based on population. Our population has dropped, and so should the number of representatives that we have. That's it. Have to. And, I'm also... How far you want to go down that hole, Brad? I don't know. About fiscal responsibility, I want to get on that train big time. I'm telling you, I want to do it. There's so many ways we could be spending money. We shouldn't be looking at generating revenue from taxes and bills and all that other crap to fill a government that we have that's bloated. This is not popular. This does not get you elected by saying, I want to reduce. No. All right, fine. Personnel is going to be a big issue, right? Hey, good morning. Thanks. Good to see you. But while this won't be popular to say get rid of jobs and stuff like that, fine. Then save the personnel part for later. Get on there and start doing smart things to reduce the size of the budget that we have for the government. Instead of raising taxes to fund a government that's too big, don't make it so big. And start with the ridiculous spending stuff. So I know, like, whatever we hear about, what people get all fired up about is about travel. Oh, they're traveling. Oh, these junkets, all that stuff, right? But nobody wants to do anything about it. Oh yeah, we're gonna put a limit on travel. Then they're gonna go travel. And then it becomes, they did it. Well, it's okay because they did it, and that happens, right? Start by really drilling down. There's not a single position in the CNMI government where an elected leader or an appointed official should be driving like a $70,000 vehicle. Nope. Shouldn't do it. There's not one. Nobody's that fancy. And if you're the secretary of whatever, why are you having such a badass vehicle for your government job? No. It makes no sense. There needs to be, you want to talk about real reform, that's it. All of these deals that you have with all of these providers for vehicles need to be regulated. You can't just, there's no reason why an elected official should be able to, under the budget of their office, drive like a $70,000 truck. Where's the fish? Another way to say WTF. Where is the fish? Like, how is that possible? And, you respect them, they're a high position, otherwise we're not going to get good people in there. Bull crap. Look at our community. Is this an environment of famine or what kind of environment do we have right now? Is this one of where there's plenty of opportunities out there? Yes, there's a lot of talented people out there looking for good gigs. They're not going to say, I'm not taking that job because I don't have a friggin' Pathfinder. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And if they like their personal car better, they'll take it. I'm telling you, we should have an army of Echoes. I don't know, they don't make them anymore, Brad. Okay, fine. Whatever it is, you don't need that stuff. Oh, it's going to be more expensive because of the maintenance. No, doesn't matter. You're all leasing them and overpaying for leases anyway. So why are you messing with that? This is just one thing, one aspect of the entire way that we can spend money that does not reduce the number of employees across the government, which still would have to work, right? But you can't scrap and get people scared about their jobs just by being smart about those kind of purchases and stuff like that. And that is absolutely reasonable. I love that golf cart idea, though, by the way. And I'll tell you what, Franklin, that would also be fun. It would be fun if everyone's going around in golf carts. But like the cool ones, like those retirement communities in Florida or those Hollywood sets, they're a little bit fancier. They're not just like your COP or your Lau Lau. Like, they're actually pretty decent. But anyway, seriously, about like the vehicle stuff, like that's just one thing. That's just one minor thing. I understand the utilities need badass trucks to do the badass jobs that they do. I understand that. Same with public works and all that other stuff. But just because you're appointed to a position doesn't mean you should do that. You should work your ass off to buy it, just like everyone else. You shouldn't be gifted something like that. Private side, your businesses and all that stuff, hey, I don't care. That's private. We're not talking about that. Talking about the public side. You should not be rewarded with something like that just because you're the director of whatever, you're the secretary of whatever. You get a car to do your official job because you got to go up to Capitol Hill, and it should be a pool car. Would it be better to not have it? Sure, if it was me personally and I would rather have my own car and leave stuff in it, yeah, got it, cool. But still, that fiscal responsibility starts somewhere, and that's it. You don't want to, you can't, and also you can't talk at all about being fiscally responsible when you're taking your office staff out to lunch on your office budget when you're a public official. You're going to call it a business meeting. It's full of it. Full of it. You can't do it. If you're paying it by yourself, that's fine. But I don't think you're paying all those things when you're making $32,000 a year. A common practice, you're right, Vince, it is common practice. And you know what? That's the kind of stuff that is what the former governor is going to use for his defense with regards to that travel stuff. Right? Well, everyone else is doing it. Well, you know what? That is such a wuss excuse to use. Well, everyone else was doing it. You're the friggin' governor. You're where the buck stops. You start from there and you set that example. Everyone else was doing it. Bullshit. That's it. I mean, that's what that is. That's what it is. Sorry, I can't sugarcoat that. It is just it. Just BS. And it's hard to just say BS. And I didn't just a few seconds ago. There's ways to be smart about it without losing votes. And by that, I mean, that's the one thing everyone's afraid of doing. They're talking about we need to raise more money to keep this party going. No, you don't. Got to be smart. How, when we have the smallest population that we've had in years, is our budget so big? Or is the demand so big for us to spend so much more? Can't. You got to right size it. You can't look. No, we are looking. We are looking. I know. So all that is to say, we were just talking about at the beginning of this, you need, if you get elected into the House of Representatives, you got 2 years. And you don't even get 2 years because you're looking at re-election at least a year in. You need to kick some ass, and you need to be ready to kick some ass now so that when you get in, you got a head full of steam, and so that you're ready to go. You need to start talking with everybody and get all those things in place. So those Ways and Means hearings and meetings aren't wasted. They're not worthless. You go in, you set that stuff, and that's it. Everyone gets, they're cutting us. They're cutting our agency. We can't do it. Get your stuff together ahead of time. You got people going in there who don't even know what they're talking about because they're just doing the same thing, like you said, because it's common practice. This is what happens all the time. No. When those people get named, this is where it starts at the governor's office too. I'm not saying that our governor, no, I'm not talking about that, but I'm just talking in theory. That's why the governor's appointees have to be on that same page to do that same stuff. When they go in, they've got a job to do, and part of that job has to be to run that place efficient. Get rid of these things that are wasting money. And it can't be the only thing you do, right? You need to hire. So you guys remember Pete Layall? He was a principal over there at Saipan Southern. I met him a long time ago, right? He's a football guy too. And he introduced his he introduced his vice principal as his asshole. He's like, Brad, everybody needs an asshole. This one's mine. That was Craig Garrison. You need to have one. to go out there and do all the stuff that needs to get done. Now, so he still has to run the school and all that other stuff, but kicking out all that other stuff, you need someone to go do that stuff. So when you're the director of so-and-so, the secretary of so-and-so, on top of managing the whole place, you need to make sure that you're ready. You got someone who can be on your team whose whole focus is to weed out all those extras that you don't need. It's not your whole mission as running the place. That'll be your accomplishment at the end. And you got to credit the guy who's helping you out with that. But really, the whole purpose of that is to get that done. Big accomplishment for both of you. But it can't be the only thing that you do. That's it. You have to still kick butt at your primary job while doing that other part. And you need to hire someone and have someone in mind before you get those jobs. So if I was governor, which will never happen, and like I'm looking at one of those different places, look, I'm gonna say this. This is no implication on anybody who's any of these things. But just like, let's just say Public Works, right? It has nothing to do with Ray Hummel. Not at all. Not at all. This is not him. I'm just saying. If I'm gonna look at appointing someone for that job, all right, dude. Here's what we're doing. I don't want to see you driving a Lexus. Ray's not driving a Lexus. Get your regular car or whatever it is, but you need to inspire the guys that are going to be working for you. You got to be modest. Now, you need to get somebody on your accounting team to weed out all this kind of BS that we are just overspending on for that. I don't care if there's all these other contracts paying for all that stuff. You start from there and keep going. Same thing for your appointees for the utilities board. Look, when you guys are in there, kick some butt. None of these kickback contracts, but talk with your director and say, this is what we want. This is the kind of director we want to have in there, the executive director, and someone who's going to do all that stuff and have someone in there to dial that stuff back. All of your divisions, all of your departments, that's it. You got to start there. That's why it does start with the governor and work out from there. So I'm telling you, that legal defense about the travel is going to be everyone was doing it. That's going to be it. And don't confuse it. I'm telling you, I loved Governor Torres when he was in. I really did. There's some stuff that happened at the end I don't love at all. Like that stuff with the whole Boost thing. Oh, Boost, it was terrible. It was good. It was, whatever it is. No, I'll tell you. So the idea of Boost was great. The execution was not, right? And that was something we'll talk about again when all this stuff comes up again, for sure. But there's a lot of good things that ended up happening. So I don't dislike him. I don't dislike him personally at all. I love a lot of the stuff that he did when he was in there. I love a lot of the COVID stuff that he did. He kept us safe, did a lot of great stuff. He had some really good folks too. But I'll tell you, some of this travel stuff, you can't be like a little kid and say, well, everyone else was doing it. That can't be your defense. That can't be a defense for that. If you weren't supposed to do it and you did it, then that's it. You got to do it. You got to take care of it that way. But that's not just for that. We're not bagging. It's not the bag on Governor Torres Day. But that's where it's got to start somewhere. And if other people are doing it, then they need to answer that for that too. Sucks. You think that we're out here living in concrete houses, but the thing is that they're all made of glass. And nobody wants to. You got to break your own house first. I guess that's it. When you get into those jobs, you got to start throwing rocks at your own glass house and rebuild that sucker. How about that for a Friday, Ann? Oh, man, I'll tell you, it's just, it's exciting. I love our community. I got a call coming in, but I know she's not calling about this right now. I know she's not calling for the show. I'll tell you what, I'm going to call her back. So I'm going to throw to a commercial real quick. I'll break it up by throwing it to a commercial. And I'm going to take this call from Dina, and I'll tell you all about it in a little bit. But anyway, I'm going to call her back. Guys, we're talking about all kinds of stuff. We're going to get back into talking about all the different candidates, all the different races and all that other stuff. No, not races. I mean, you know what I mean, like the different precincts and all that other stuff. Let's not get silly. All right. Let's not get silly. Let's get hard. Let's get really buff. Let's go to Laddie Belt and get serious. You got the Legislative Bureau. The real LB you need is Laddie Built. Go down in Chalacano and see the newest gym in Saipan. Yeah, they've been around here for years, but not in this brand new facility that they just opened at the start of this year. The latest equipment, they got free weights, they got the machines, they got people to make you feel great about yourself, because that's going to be you when you start working out over there. They got great supplements, they've got great gear, great people, and great parking. Go down there and check it out for yourself. Here's a little sneak peek. Go down to Laddie Belt. Tell them we sent you.
Persistence to build, be the inspiration, they witness the proof. We do what we do by the rules in the book. We be a Lottie where discipline and vision is built. We lead by example, persistence to build, be the inspiration, they witness the proof. We do what we do by the rules in the book.
It's a great day to be up 3-0. I'll tell you that. It probably is not great to be down.
I'm Brad Rosala, and I'm the owner for Commonwealth Communications.
And I am Jojo Alipuzu. I am the owner of Island Image and Motion.
And this is our joint venture, Sideline Studios. This whole concept that we have of doing all these live stream productions and covering news and doing live shows and everything, it wouldn't happen if we didn't have a great partner like IT&E, someone who can handle the bandwidth and provide it and then get us what we need when we need it, and then be a real partner for us for all the events, whether we're doing live sporting events, broadcasts. All of these things happen because of our partnership with IT&E.
With IT&E providing us with the fiber and point-to-point and even the MBRs, is just a great piece of equipment to use when we're broadcasting our sports, our events, our performances, especially our cultural performances. And it's just great to share our culture here in the Marianas with the world. And IT&E has been there from the get-go.
The thing I like best about working with IT&E is how willing they are to come out and find a solution. Even for Liberation Day, we thought we had a pretty good solution for our live stream setup, and it turns out that we did not have the right setup that we thought we needed. That day, just before the parade, reached out to Paul and said, here's our situation. What do you think? He's like, we're gonna figure this out. While he's sitting there barbecuing, getting ready for the parade to start, he starts burning up the phone lines, calling everybody in IT&E, what can we do, what's the right solution? They left their families to do this stuff and get us the equipment that we needed to broadcast live. That's over and above. That's on a holiday. That's when he was out there spending time with his family.
That's why IT&E is just the best, just really in touch with the people and the community.
I recommend IT&E to everybody. Tell them the options are there, and you can choose whoever you want and then figure out what you think is the best. But when you're ready, when you're tired of having your calls disconnected or not having service, then you reach out to the guys from IT&E.
The Earth is 70% water. And 30% land. But the entire sky belongs to us.
Oh, no. What happened? Where'd it go? Boom. Good morning, CNMI. It is 8:10 in the a.m. as we are getting all torched up talking about politics and campaigns and all that stuff and having fun with you guys. I got a little caught up in the old, all the headlines and all that stuff of like what you normally get into for politics. And I didn't get into the actual headlines from the Associated Press, kind of overshot that stuff. But I got to see some of your comments and the questions while I was trying to get a cup of coffee in the meantime, too. You guys bring up some really great points. Like Louisa had a good one over there on YouTube saying like, hey, I'd love to see candidates come in and sit down with us. Not a party voter, but a people voter. Show me who you are and prove you're capable of the job and you'll get my vote. It bothers me to see people sit there quiet. You're there for a reason. Open your mouth. Don't just sit pretty. I hear that. Louisa, you're speaking to me. Kindred spirits right there. And the thing is that so much of the time it happens that way. Like, what really bothers me? When people abstain from voting. You're either conflicted out or you're not. If you don't agree with what's being presented, then vote against it. What's this abstention stuff? I know there's a reason for it. But you can't use that as just so you can say later, oh, see, I didn't vote against you, Pari. No, that's crap. It's weak. And people didn't vote you in to be weak. They voted you in to be their voice and to act in the best interest of the community. And I'll tell you what, you're not going to make everybody happy. Guaranteed. I can't even do that in my own house. Usually it's my daughter who gets more upset because I don't let her have a phone. She has a phone, but I don't let her have service. She could just use Wi-Fi with it. It's like a little portable entertainment device. And I'm not going to earn her vote. When it comes to running the house, we ran for an election. She definitely vote mom. But hey, that's what you got to do if you're elected. Again, you're not just voting. You're not just in it for one little group or one thing. I mean, your precinct has to be your focus if you are the House of Representatives. And if you're in the Senate, it's the whole island. But also, you're a lawmaker. You're making the laws for the entire Commonwealth. So you've got to have a real big focus, too. But, I mean, if you don't take care of the folks in your precinct, then you're sunk, right? You're out. And sometimes, though, you got to say no. That's tough. The first thing is, though, let's get on that finance train. All right. Well, hey, I'll tell you what. We just came back from the commercial, but I do want to keep you guys up to date. A lot of stuff happening in the world around us. I don't know if you guys heard about that big earthquake in Japan. 7.1 that hit last night while we were doing baseball yesterday. Japan got hit, walloped by a massive quake. Again, a 7.1, the Noto quake. And now there was a threat of a big tsunami and everything. They had a big tsunami warning, but it was nothing like the Boxing Day quake or anything like that. But, there's all kinds of damage all across the region there where they got hit. And, if we're not covering stuff like that, then we're not doing our job. And it happened, today is actually the anniversary of Nagasaki as well. We acknowledged the Hiroshima bombing earlier in the week. Today is Nagasaki, and that was the boxcar leaving Tinian and heading that way. How many years ago now? That was 1945, so 79 years ago. All right, well, let's get in and get the latest headlines from the Associated Press. They are good to go. They're ready for us, so let's get it to you, and we're going to move right along here with the Good Morning
Marianas. News, I'm Ben Thomas. Donald Trump held an hour-long news conference this afternoon. He recommitted to debating Vice President Kamala Harris and attacked her.
She should not be in a position, because if she becomes president, our country is going to be a giant fail. It's going to fail. It's going to be a failure the likes of which this world has never seen.
Meantime, Norman Hall reports on Harris's day.
Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz showed their support for organized labor by appearing at a United Auto Workers event in Detroit.
I say to all the members of UAW and Sean Fain as the first who I talked to about this. I am so deeply honored as a lifelong supporter of union labor for Tim and I to have the endorsement of UAW.
Speaking at a union hall, Harris tied her Oakland, California upbringing by single mother with running mate Walz's childhood in small-town Nebraska. Harris said all American workers benefit from better working conditions gained through collective bargaining. I'm Norman Hall.
ABC's announced Trump and Harris have agreed to a September 10th debate. At least 3 tornadoes spawned by Tropical Storm Debbie leveled homes, damaged a school, and killed 1 person in North Carolina. The tropical storm made landfall for a second time early this morning in South Carolina. Robbie Berg at the National Hurricane Center.
The rainfall is going to remain heavy for another day or so, and the system is still moving fairly slowly. One other issue we see is that when some of the rainfall can get enhanced along portions of the mountains there in western Virginia, and so we are concerned about the possibility of flash floods in that area, as well as the Carolinas.
In Austria, authorities say 2 suspects in a foiled plot to attack Taylor Swift concerts in Vienna appeared to be inspired by the Islamic State group and Al-Qaeda. Investigators found bomb-making materials at one of their homes. One confessed to planning to kill as many people as possible outside the concert venue. This is AP News. Where'd the market go today?
I'm Seth Sutel, and this is the AP Markets Report. Stocks rallied to their best day since 2022 in Wall Street's latest sharp swerve. The S&P 500 jumped 2.3% Thursday after a better-than-expected report on unemployment claims calmed worries about the slowing economy. The Dow rose 683 points, that's about 1.8%. The Nasdaq Composite gained 2.9%. Treasury yields also climbed in the bond market. That's a signal that investors are feeling less worried about the economy. That came after a report showed fewer workers applied for unemployment benefits last week than had been expected. The yield on the 10-year Treasury note climbed to 3.99%. Eli Lilly rose 9.5% after delivering better profit for the spring than had been expected. Big tech stocks also rebounded. Seth Sutel, New York.
The average rate on a 30-year mortgage has fallen to the lowest level in more than a year. Freddie Mac puts it at 6.47%. I'm Ben Thomas, AP News. Thanks for listening.
And there is an entire page dedicated to this guy making these songs with those rubber chickens. It's so bad. I'm telling you, I am getting all of these songs, and you're going to get used to that. Oh, even in harmony. Look at that. It's great stuff. It's terrible, but it's great stuff. Anyway, welcome back. It is Good Morning Marianas. It's 8:18 here on the morning show, the only all-digital morning show in the Northern Mariana Islands. We bring you video. We bring you audio. We bring you phone calls. We bring you rubber duck songs, or rubber chicken songs. We got a little bit of everything. Hey, we are gonna leave early today, even though that we started off all Pika and stuff. Because we are going to surprise the old the head for Customs and Biosecurity by giving them a really good. It's awesomely annoying. I know it's terrible. Sorry, but it makes me laugh. But we're gonna about the music. But we are gonna go down there and give a real good coverage for the event. It's the 10th cycle for Customs Biosecurity officers, and we want to be there for it. They asked us to come down and cover it, so we're gonna give them a little bit of the extra sauce. We want to get it to you guys. So we'll be broadcasting down there from there, and while we do it, you'll be there with us. It'll be pretty neat. So this just gives us extra time to set up and get down there because the thing's at 10 o'clock. What? I know. Not to mention the traffic between now and then. So any little extra amount of time, they're not going to be waiting for us. That's why I got to get down there, set up fast, get this party started, and then we're good to go. So good news, right? Pretty exciting. You guys are going to see like the newest cycle of graduates coming in, people keeping all those drugs out of our community before they even get there, before DPS has to do their job. These guys are intercepting stuff at the post office, at the airport, at the seaport. Yep. So we want to support them for sure. Anyway, so we got about 10 minutes to go before we call it a show. Great stuff out there, though. Guys, if you haven't already, please give us a like and a follow over here on the Facebook page. You can do that on the Good Morning Marianas page as well, but the the NMI News Service page is the one that we're really trying to kick up there. Get it up to at least, we got it, right now our next goal is hitting it to that 5,000 follower mark. Yeah, sure, it's not like Taylor Swift, but, we'll get there. Once we hit 5,000, it opens up new things for us. So with the algorithm and all that other nerd stuff I could talk about. But that's it. So that's the next goal for us, so we can get to that 5,000. It's not just it's not just some arbitrary number. It actually helps, again, with the algorithm and what we're able to do for the show itself. So help us get out there. If you help promote it, we'll appreciate that too. Also, if you don't know, we're also broadcasting on YouTube. That's right. So on YouTube, it's NMI News 670. I know Louisa found it because she was already commenting this morning, so that's great. And, I hear you. Oh, my gosh, that last comment speaks to me. I'll tell you all about that. I'll tell you, the only reason I'm not going to get into that right now is because I'll be talking for way more than 10 minutes. 9 minutes. I only got 9 minutes left. You keep getting kicked out of Facebook. Oh, no. How are you getting kicked out of Facebook? You're definitely not getting kicked out by me. I don't have any mods booting anybody. And so you're not going anywhere because of me. You can talk about it all day long. Don't worry about it. And by the way, you guys are like, who are you talking to? I'm talking to Louisa over there. She's watching on YouTube. And by the way, YouTube's a little bit, I'm looking at that broadcast versus where we're at right now. And let's see. I think YouTube might be like a little step behind, just a second or two, because it's running a different coding thing. But, it's not that far behind, so you're okay. So you might be hearing my comments to you a little bit late, Louisa. Peeling, good to see you too. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, by the way, I was telling people that we're going to be cutting out a little bit early today to go to the cover that graduation cycle for Customs and Biosecurity. So anyway, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube page. Also, again, it's NMI News 670. We don't have a massive amount, but we only started that page about a month and a half ago. And it might not even have been a month and a half. It might have just been a month ago. And there's been times when it has been problematic when we were using the other computer. Now that we're using this one, we're able to get a smoother stream. This is a more powerful computer is what it comes down to. So we're able to get more stuff out there and get it to you quicker. So please do that. When we get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, that's going to be a real game changer for us, because that's where you get all monetized and all that stuff too. So if you can help us out with that, that'd be really great. So follow, subscribe, all that other stuff here and over at Facebook. We post on Instagram too, and that might be a new place where we end up broadcasting live as well, just to get more people into it. It's a tougher pull because we're going to try to do it with the same software, but I might have to do something different for it. But it's just recent where we're able to do with the software that we use to broadcast all this stuff, where we're going to be able to do it on Instagram as well. But I think we found our little sweet spot for Saipan, but we're going to try to reach out and promote it beyond this. So anyway, I've got the sports update from the Associated Press for sure, and there's so much more we could talk about. I'm telling you. There's so much more. Luis, if you want to talk about that presidential stuff again, I can get on board with that for sure, because that was part of my conversation, 4 years ago for sure, and then 8 years ago for sure. I definitely, I can get on that conversation pretty hard for sure. And then we can talk, I literally would, I think we're going to end up doing a lot more when we get closer to the election. For president. And it's funny because we're going to get in there and talk about all this stuff about the presidential election, and we can't even vote for him while we're here. We get all fired up about it, but we can't do anything about it. That's the part that sucks. At least, though, when we're getting a little heavy into what's going on with our local politics and our local politicians and running the local office, we can actually make a difference out here. That's one of the things I love the most about living out here, is how much of an impact one person can have on the community. If you really want to do something, if it means enough to you, you can really have a great impact on our community. Love it. That's why I love it when people who really want that job run for office. When people who really want to make a difference run for it. Now, when they, I saw, like, there's somebody who I really, really like ran for office and won. And I was really happy that they won. And it was disappointing because everything that I saw that I expected that person to do turned into being a way to fund that next stage of their life that had nothing to do with politics. It had to deal with issues, but not that job. And so it was kind of like a couple of elections ago where you had all these folks that were in there making a big splash, and then they all left. Yeah, what are you going to do? It happens. It happens. It's like Saipan. You can get pretty close to some folks. The people who grew up here, that's why people stick together pretty tight. And sometimes it's personal. Sometimes it's the political stuff. And I know that you can get around all that stuff. But when the chips are down, the people who are from here for a long time, stick together. You can look past some things with some folks just because you're here. That's currency. Being here is currency. Staying here is currency. The amount of time, man, how many times have you heard from people who just fly in? They've been here like 6 months. Oh, man, I feel like this is my home. All right. And then like 3 months later, they're leaving. You hear it so many times. And you like it. And you want people to believe it. You got to be here. I'd say to that point, though, like this is year 22 for me here, right? And, I still meet people that are like, oh, so you think you're going to stay here forever? I'm like, dude, I've been here this is my 22nd year. Clearly, I don't have any designs on somewhere else. I'm not pining to go and live somewhere else. Like, this is it, this is a pretty good place to be. And it's worth sticking around for. And by the way, it's easy to coast out here on, just being nice and everything and not saying anything bad about anybody. Like, because that's good. You don't want to talk smack about somebody for no reason. You don't want to be that jerk. But it'd be a lot easier to not point out any of the negative stuff that happens in political office and things like that. And it would be easier. But because, you live here, because I live here, like I want to say something about it, do something about it. Not enough to run yet. My wife would kill me. I like her better. My wife would hate it. Absolutely hate it. All right. Hey, we only got a couple of minutes left because I was going to get out of here early. I want to leave at 8, start packing everything up here at 8:30. So that's so I can get down there to customs and do this stuff. Again, I know it's, I think you guys will be just fine. And by the way, they're shaking the crap out of this building next door with all the impactor the compactor that's out there right now. They've got all kinds of road work. That's a great topic for next week. We talk about my takes on the road work and your take on the road work. And what would you do differently with regards to this road construction project on Beach Road? I think you probably have some ideas. I'm just going to go on a limb and guess that you might have had some ideas of your own. If you think that this is the best way to do it, or if maybe they need to reassess how they're doing stuff out here. All right. Well, I'm going to start packing stuff up, and in the meantime, I'll give you the latest sports update from the Associated Press. But essentially, this is going to be it. I'll come back just to close it off. But that said, I'm going to start packing up and getting ready for the customs and biosecurity graduation that's going to happen here at 10 o'clock. So we'll see you back for that. But in the meantime, here's a little bit of sports. Thanks for tuning in today. Really glad you're here.
AP Sports, I'm Chuck Freeman. Quincy Hall became the latest American to electrify Olympic track and field with an out-of-nowhere comeback, sprinting from far behind in the 400 meters to reel in 3 runners and capture the gold medal. Hall says he never let up after the quick start.
That was probably my fastest time of me ever getting out. I ran 20:90, I guess. But these guys, I knew these guys were going to get out, and they're going to come for blood early. They're going to go out and try to see who can throw, who they could throw off the race.
United States women's basketball team beat Nigeria 88-74, and they advanced to the semifinals, extending their record-winning streak to 59 in a row. United States men look to reach the gold medal game for the 18th time in 20 Olympic appearances. They'll face Serbia in the semifinals in Paris later on tonight. The NCAA says Michigan football coach Jim Harbaugh had impermissible contact with recruits and players while access was restricted during the COVID-19 pandemic. Harbaugh has been handed a 4-year show cause order if he wants to return to college coaching. He is currently with the NFL's Los Angeles Chargers. Major League Baseball, a battle of the two best teams in the National League, Philadelphia and Los Angeles, and the Phillies win 9-4. Mark Myers reports.
What a night for Kyle Schwarber. The Phillies leadoff man homered 3 times and drove in 7 runs. Schwarber led off the game with a homer. He hit a 2 RBI double in the 5th inning, a 3-run home run in the 6th, and a solo shot in the 9th. Rookie Tyler Phillips went 5 innings for the win, allowing 4 runs. He is now 4-1. Dodger reliever Alex Vesia tagged with the loss.
The New York Mets down Colorado 5-3. Francisco Lindor, a tie-breaking 2-run single in the 9th inning. San Francisco over Washington 7-4. Derek Hill's grand slam capped the 5-run first inning. Miami beat struggling Cincinnati 6-4. Milwaukee defeated Atlanta for a second night in a row 8-5. Brewers manager Pat Murphy says his lineup kept plugging away after wasting scoring chances early against Brave starter Chris Sale.
Had some things go our way, but we left a small village, on base. But then we kept pecking away. Instead of getting discouraged, we kept pecking away.
What a game in Pittsburgh between San Diego and the Pirates, as Josh Roundtree reports.
The Padres won a wild game Wednesday night, topping the Pirates 9-8 in 10 innings. Jackson Merrill homered twice for San Diego, including a 9th-inning blast to push the game to extras. The Padres scored 3 in the 10th. Pittsburgh answered with a pair but couldn't push the tying run across. Kyle Higashioka also homered, and he had 3 RBIs for San Diego, winners of 13 of 16.
San Francisco beat Washington 7-4. American League, it was Houston downing Texas 6-4. Astros manager Joe Espada says his offense continues to show signs of breaking out.
This is a good offense. It's going to flip, At some point, you just got to keep grinding, keep talking to the players about quality at bats, what they're trying to do to us, what teams see us do. There's some tendencies that we're doing that teams are watching that, so we got to just adjust. And then we did that tonight.
One day after ending their American League record-tying 21-game losing skid, the Chicago White Sox are back to losing, falling to Oakland 3-2. The New York Yankees and LA Angels split a doubleheader, as Tom Merriam reports.
The Yankees fell back into a first-place tie atop the American League East after splitting a doubleheader with the Angels. After New York won the first game 5-2, LA took the nightcap 8-2. Zach Neto hit a 2-run homer in the first game, drove in 6 runs in Game 2, including a second-inning grand slam. Neto became the first opposing shortstop in the 100 seasons history of the 2 Yankee stadiums with 6 RBIs in a single game.
I was just locked in on what I needed to do. And that was to do everything I can to manufacture runs and, get a win.
And with the Yankees splitting the doubleheader, Baltimore was able to gain some ground in the American League East, as Dave Ferry reports on the Orioles game with Toronto.
The Orioles' 7-3 win over Toronto, coupled with the Yankees' doubleheader split with the Angels, puts Baltimore even with New York atop the AL East. Anthony Santander slammed 2 home runs and made a terrific catch in the outfield to end the 7th inning. Orioles manager Brandon Hyde.
To make that type of play, he is just so locked in to win right now. It's when he comes to the ballpark, it's all about winning tonight's game. He's going to do anything he can to win tonight's game. And tonight he carried us offensively and then makes the catch of the game. And what a tough play he made, too.
Interleague play, Arizona swept the doubleheader from Cleveland, winning 7-3 and 5-3. The Chicago Cubs playing better baseball as of late. They got the win over Minnesota, as David Schuster reports.
Michael Busch and Ian Happ both hit home runs as the Cubs defeated the Twins 8-2. Rookie Pete Crow Armstrong added a leadoff single in the 3-run third frame as the Cubs won back-to-back series and finished their homestand at 5-2.
It's been a lot of guys that have kind of picked their years up and kind of got it going. And again, I say it's at the right time because we still got 45 left, and we're only getting better as the season goes. And I think that's such a promising thing, being able to to pick it up when the months are starting to get harder.
5 pitchers combined to hold the Twins to 6 hits, with Jorge Lopez picking up the victory.
Early offense for the St. Louis Cardinals in their victory over Tampa, as Mike Reeves reports.
The Cardinals defeated the Rays 5-2, with Eric Fetty picking up his first win as a Redbird. After working 5 innings, he allowed 1 run while striking out 6.
That's exciting. I mean, always I've known this place to be a great stadium, great fans, and to finally get here and be wearing the Cardinal jersey, it's exciting, and I'm glad we were able to get a win on the first one.
Nolan Arenado and Alec Burleson delivered 2-run doubles for the Cards.
The Cardinals trying to stay within range of the Milwaukee Brewers. Chuck Freeman, AP Sports.
All right, so that's about all we've got. You can see I'm standing up, so you know I'm getting ready and hustling and all that other stuff. So thanks for tuning in today. We're going to be back again on Monday, but in about an hour and a half, we're going to bring you guys the graduation for the 10th cycle for Customs and Biosecurity. So we'll see you guys in a little bit. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for being around. And I got more packing up to do, so you guys have a great day. Take care.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. Happy day, Tirawamian greetings. To Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your island news. From a beautiful place with Pacific views. It's always so much fun. Oh. Good morning, Marianas.